Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining in on this. It's a beautiful night in New Hampshire for the rest of you where you are. I hope you all are having great weather there, and I hope everyone, if anyone's down south, braved the storm okay. My name is Trish Cox, and I'm the online coordinator of the MSW program. I'm also an alumni of the program, and I also did the MCH Lynn program, which is one of our pinnacle internships that we can talk about if you have any questions. So we do have a chat button, which is where you will write your questions. And Lynn Albisusi is here with me. Lynn, do you want to just come over and say hi really quick? And Lynn has been talking to a lot of you. So
nice to meet you finally over the internet. I've chatted with many of you on the phone. I hope you enjoy the info session tonight, and know that if we don't get to your questions tonight, certainly email or call me tomorrow and I'll be happy to chat with you.
So just the way things go, you will have questions about 10 minutes after we sign off. So Lynn is wonderful and extremely accessible, so definitely reach out to her. So the Department of Social Work's mission is proudly educating social work professionals to work effectively with diverse individuals, families, groups, organizations, and communities to optimize human potential for productive participation in society. And I really think the mission and our faculty is what makes this program so special and so unique. We strive to keep our cohort small, and unlike a lot of programs that are out there, we are really focused on quality, a quality program with faculty that care. And I'm really proud of that. And I think the fact that Lynn is an alumni, I'm an alumni, our field coordinator, Kelsey Sobel, who you'll get to know very quickly, is also an alumni of the program, and even our administrative assistant, who's out on maternity leave right now, is an alumni of the BSW program. So I think that says a lot about how much the faculty care here to pull in their students to become social work professionals. So questions about why earning your MSW. You're all on here because you have thought about earning your MSW, and you're making the first step to learn about it. And the main goals to be earning your MSW are for people that want to work for social change and make a difference in the world. So people that are focused on social justice and working in the micro and the macro levels, this is definitely the program for you. We are an advanced generalist program, which I can talk about later. We focus both on the macro perspectives and the micro perspectives, so clinical and also social systems out there. It's a wide open job market right now, and it's growing exponentially. A lot of the social work positions are in healthcare, mental health, education, corrections, military, courts and legal system, and employee assistance programs. So why UNH? As you saw when you did your Google search or you're talking to people, there are a significant amount of MSW online programs out there. And I think the important things for you to focus on when you are choosing a program is that you make sure that A, it is accredited by the Council on Social Work Education and New England Association of Schools and Colleges. This is extremely important when you're choosing a program, that you're focused on that being your top question, because these accreditations hold us to a higher standard. They make sure that our ratios of faculty to students is strong, that we're using the correct evidence base, and that we are, grounded in research and current research. We have an accomplished full-time faculty who have designed and developed all of our courses, and they provide guidance and mentorship to whether it's junior faculty or adjuncts. All of our adjuncts are pulled because they have a significant amount of time working in the field of social work, and they also have some connection with our program. So all of our adjuncts are close, whether they have been site supervisors, internship supervisors, have taught for us for many years. We have some adjuncts that have taught for us for 20 years. So we take great pride in our adjunct and our full-time faculty. I can say that I started my MSW at another school and before I moved to New Hampshire, and that the quality of our faculty here is really what makes our program strong. They really care. They want to sit down. They want to get to know you. They want to help in whatever way they can. So we do have small class sizes. The average size is 15 students. It's not uncommon to have 12 to 15 students. The max, the cap is 20, but we really do try to keep it at 15, and that's what all our registration numbers are set at. Occasionally we have students that do try to get into a special elective that's not being offered for a year, so it does go up, but the cap is 20. And that's really important when you're looking at online programs, to see what the cap is and how big the class sizes are going to be, because anything more than that is really hard to build a community in. Our faculty is connected in the field and also active researchers. So our faculty aren't people that are just sitting at their desk doing research all day. They're in the field. They're working with DCYF. One of our faculty members is on the Governor's Commission for Disabilities. They're working on all different levels of the system and take great pride in that. So why online? A lot of you are here for these reasons. But it's the same exact degree, the same requirements, and the same high quality education as our on-campus program. It allows flexibility that allows students to complete coursework on your own time frame. So we do have a designed plan for you, but if you do need to go to one course a semester or a term, we do have part-time options available. Field internships occur in your students area, so you'll be starting to work very closely as soon as you're admitted and starting your cohort. You'll work very closely with Kelsey Sobel, who is our field coordinator for online, who's absolutely wonderful, and she really wants you to work your connections in social work in your area, and will ask you for contacts and ideas. So there is no need to relocate, obviously, for this degree, for high quality degree, and it's just not necessary for you to move anywhere. So you do save on those expenses too. So our program overview, it can be completed in 28 months. We admit students 3 times a year. So in January, May, and August, there are 5 terms a year of 8-week courses. There are 20 courses total that you need to take, and then that equals out to 62 credit hours total. So most of our classes are 3 credits each. There are 2 field classes that are 4 credits. So I know in undergrad at UNH, most of the classes here are 4 credits. So that's where it's different in graduate school. And you do 2 field internships. So what are the classes like? The average class size is 15 students. There are personal connections made with faculty and classmates via technology. Students participate in discussions, complete assignments, create videos, view lectures, and access course materials at times and from locations they choose. A majority of courses are asynchronous. This is different once you get into your field and practice courses, which align with your internships. You will have a weekly meeting for those. So it could be weekly or bi-weekly, but you do need to know that that is going to happen during your field and practice. For some electives, there might be, a synchronous session for it. We're launching a suicide class, a suicide assessment class, and that is the instructor felt very important to practice assessments with each other. So there will be synchronous sessions for that. So just an example of some creative programming. There is a real need for self-discipline, which Naomi will tell you about. We do have a current student with us, and time management to get the most from the program. So I think that's the most important thing, is for you to look at your schedule and see whether you have the 15 hours in your schedule per class to really carve that out, because the courses are fast, you hit the ground running, but the students that are prepared and have excellent time management do very well. So, and Lynn has designed some great guides and executive functioning, different ideas for you to program yourself and your day with. So field internships, this is one of the biggest questions people have, and this is what's really important for you to understand out of the whole program. This is a requirement. There's no way around the field internships. It's not an optional thing. This is what these are accreditation standards. There's no flexibility with the 2 internships. So year 1, we have 2 days a week, which is about 16 hours. And year 2 is 3 days a week, so 24 hours. Students intern during the typical work week during typical work hours, and placements are identified in students' local area with the department assistants. Supervision follows CSWE guidelines, and faculty conducts virtual field visits. So all internships have to be placed with an MSW. So there needs to be an internship there, internship supervisor who's an MSW that provides you technically with 2 hours a week of supervision, but a strong 1 hour a week of sit-down supervision. So we also, something that's special about UNH is we have some wonderful grad certificates, which is expanded elective offerings. We currently have the Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Graduate Certificate, which is offered online right now. And this is done in partnership with the Institute on Disability, which is an incredible partnership and a really strong program at University of New Hampshire. And it includes 4 electives that are focused on individuals with developmental disabilities. Some of the future graduate certificate offerings are substance abuse, child welfare, and we're also looking to add a military certificate. So Lynn has spent a lot of time developing our website, and I think it is a wealth of information, so please spend some time on there. A lot of the questions that you have will be answered on here. So, you know, after you get off, please spend some time poking around on there and then shooting Lynn any questions that you have. But it really has a lot of, we really take note. Lynn does a great job when students do have questions, and it's a common question of getting it up here. So, Naomi, I'm going to unmute you. So hang on one second. And I'm going to ask you to talk. And thank you so much for coming on your night when I know you still have work to do. And but thanks for taking a little bit of time just to talk to everyone.
Absolutely. Can you hear me okay?
And I'm not sure if your sound is on.
One moment here. Yes. Can you hear me okay?
You can? Okay. Oh. Is she talking right?
She's muted. Someone just said you're off now. You muted.
Oh, hang on one second.
Part of this meeting as well. And I guess I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my experience with the UNH MSW program.
Thank you, Naomi. I can hear you now.
Well, first off, okay, great. First off, my background is I was in the military. I have 3 kids. One of them is 8 weeks old and sitting in my lap now. And I work at a hospice agency. That's kind of how I became very interested in being a social worker. I met a few interns from UNH, and they told me how amazing this program was, and that's how I started researching it and found that they had an online program, which is great. So a little bit about the time management that's worked for me. I have a designated time every day. I pick up my kids, I make dinner, and then from a certain time, 5 to 8 or 5 to 10, or I'm sorry, 8 to 10, I always do my homework. We call it homework because that's what my daughter calls it. I sit down, I read, I do all my discussions and my papers. I also, sorry, I'm a little nervous here. I also make it a point to use programs like Dropbox. I download all of the reading for the week into Dropbox, and what I do is read my articles and my textbooks, things like that. I save pages from them, and I can read them wherever I'm at. So if I'm waiting at a doctor's appointment, I'm sitting there, I'm reading my articles, I'm reading the textbooks. That's been extremely helpful with time management, as well as just having a to-do list on Monday. Monday, I break down my week. I say, this is the day that I'm going to read this, and the Tuesday, this is what I'm going to do. By Wednesday, I have my discussions ready. The other thing that really helps is reading every question for assignments on Mondays so that while I'm reading, I have the answers by Wednesday, which is usually when the discussions are due, which is kind of pretty obvious. But so communication with the faculty, Trish is my advisor and she has been amazing. Every time I email, it could be in the evening, I always get an email right back and say, what time can you meet? And we chat. Obviously, I have an 8-week-old and I've been in this program for almost a year. So there was a lot of special planning. I got to switch some of my classes around in order to accommodate my situation. And for a moment, I thought, I don't think I can do this. I'm not used to asking for help, but Trish has always been there and said, okay, this is what we're going to do. How does this work? Does this feel better? And that's been amazing. As well as every professor that I've had, I think every course I've had, there's been something that just popped up. Every time I email my professor, they have been so willing to help accommodate. I've emailed, instead of downloading an assignment on the website because my internet was slow, they let me send it by email through my phone. I mean, it's just been, everybody's been so accommodating. And the other thing is, well, when I first started the program, I think I had Trish as a professor as well. And she said, we're lucky we're going to school with professors as social workers because everyone is extremely understanding and wants to work with you in your situation. So if anything happens, you just let them know right away. And it's been just a great welcoming and warm experience so far. The strengths, obviously, is that your time is flexible. I can study at 2 o'clock in the morning and do my assignments at 2 o'clock in the morning, do my my discussions. I can, to be absolutely honest, at first you would think that online education would be lesser quality, but it is very challenging. There are a lot of courses that you'll start and say, okay, here's another course to get my credits, but by the end of it, you will be a changed person. Trish teaches a course about race and oppression, and of course I started and said, oh great, I'm just gonna get my elective credits. But by the end of it, I wanted to be on the steps of Washington, D.C., with signs and legislators, and so these courses will really change who you are by every single class I've taken. Right now I'm taking a child resiliency course, and I had no interest in working with children, and of course now I want to work with children. And so it's just been an amazing experience, and I'm sorry I'm so nervous, and of course I have my baby here.
Great, Miami.
I also work at a hospice agency where we work with many social workers. I have a psychosocial manager who has been very supportive in this, in getting me my degree. And when all of the social workers are sitting around talking about psychosocial assessments and issues that their families might be experiencing, I really feel like, based on my education that I'm receiving here, that I have something of value to share with them, and it's because this program is so high quality. So, I mean, that's pretty much all I have, but I hope it was somewhat helpful, and at least my enthusiasm comes across for everybody.
It does, Miami. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I didn't know I need to bring tears. I mean, tears are gonna make me cry. But thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Of course.
To come. So, and also, if you guys have any questions, Miami, I don't know if you'd be interested in answering anyone's emails after, but
absolutely.
Okay, thank you. I just need to move something out here of the screen. So next is questions, and hopefully you all have some questions, and hopefully we answered some of your questions. Lynn, I think, is getting ready to tell me what they are.
We have one person asking about resources and how you kind of deliver information. How important is it to have an up-to-date computer, great internet connection, whether it's wireless or hardwired? And does the department send anything hard copies, or should people really be having, technology that's going to, contribute to their success in terms of accessing reliable internet access and also having a phone? Is that important?
And I hope everyone could hear that, but the question was how up-to-date technology do you need to have? And I would really stress that this is an online program, and you want to have a computer that works fast. Nowadays, you can buy laptops for $400, and they'll definitely move a lot faster than the one that you have from 5 years ago. So this is not a program that you want to come into with a slow laptop. You want to have access to email. Something that I cannot stress enough is that this program is very reliant on email. And so you need to be checking your email every day. So however you do that, wherever you do that is fine, whether it's from an iPad or or your computer. But it is really important to have those professional connections. And if you do use your iPad, to make sure you spell check and write professional emails back if it's to your faculty. So we've had some issues with iPads just kind of sending off unedited emails and things like that. So did I answer that?
I think
Okay.
so. And Sue, you and I can chat perhaps a little bit more about what that means in terms of Wi-Fi connection and the coursework. Another question is around internships and how rigid or how flexible are they? Can you stretch out internship placements across longer than the 9 months that it takes, less than 16 or 24 hours a week? Kind of what's the...
Internships, unless there's special circumstances, really do stick to the 2 days and then 3 days in the second year. That's something that you could talk to Kelsey Sobel about. I would encourage you to email her directly. It's Kelsey, KELSEY Sobel, SOBEL @unh.edu, and Lynn can also connect you if you have something specific in mind that you're thinking about. We do have the employer agency option, but that doesn't happen a lot, which is when you're working in your place of employment, because you have to have a separate supervisor and separate job tasks. So if you're interested in talking to her about that and talking that through before you apply, I definitely recommend that you have that conversation with her. It's hard to make that work. People have, and they do. And Kelsey's wonderful to work with, but generally they don't seem to work out. So.
And this is Lynn again. When I talk to folks too, I always, grad school is just such a huge commitment in terms of the time, the money, your resources, your effort. Going in, I think, you won't know until you're in the program where you're going to be placed. So it's probably wisest to think worst case scenario. What if you do get 2 internships and neither is where you work? Is that a deal breaker for you? Or, most folks do need to intern, 2 full days a week for the first internship and then 3 days a week for the second. Is that a deal breaker for you? Just going in with those kind of real expectations is going to set you up for success versus getting into the program and coming into the realization that's just not going to work. A couple other questions. How many classes does a full-time student take in an 8-week session?
Full-time students take 2 classes per e-term, and they're 5 e-terms. So in one semester, typical school semester, you would take 4 classes. So there would be 2 e-terms, but it's 2 classes at a time, basically. We have had people do more than that, and they generally say never again. It is a lot of work. So, but if that is something that we wouldn't recommend, but it is possible. So.
And then how many days per week are assignments due?
How many days a week are assignments due really depends on the faculty. For my class, the Race, Culture, and Oppression class that Mamie was just talking about, they have 3 discussion board posts due really Wednesday and Sunday are the 2 dates, and then all of my major assignments are due on Sundays, and I have I think 4 major assignments in that class. So in the meantime, you'll be watching videos, answering discussion boards, reading the articles, reading your chapters. What I generally tell my students to do is very similar to what Mamie was talking about is, you really dive into the lectures and the reading on Monday. You finish them up Tuesday. You make your first primary post, which is a pretty significant post that's supported by research and reading and pulling in the lectures and the videos on Wednesday. And then, Thursday you kind of catch up and, maybe respond to a couple peers and take a day off, Friday or Saturday. And then Sunday you do your final discussion board posts. And that changes when you have a big project due or a big paper due.
Another question, if I were to enroll in a substance abuse certificate program, would any of those classes transfer into the MSW, or is it a completely separate thing?
That is a question that I would ask for Brian Miller, but if they are the social work electives, you can definitely, all electives are transferable across programs. So if you're going to be doing the substance abuse certificate program, which is just face-to-face right now, so if anyone out there is kind of wondering what that's about, it's just a face-to-face program, and that's because of the LADAC rules, I think. But yes, you could use 2 of those courses for, or actually 3 for your electives.
And if someone has specific questions about that, I think it was Casey who asked about that, I can send you the substance abuse certificate brochure that we have, which includes Brian Miller's contact information if you want more details on that. Another question, how many months are each internship?
So each internship is 9 months. So it runs basically across an academic year, so like September to May. But you have 3 weeks off in between, but they basically come down to 9 months each.
Okay, and then if enrolled, would it be possible to enroll in 2 certificate programs, or would you have to choose one?
If enrolled, could you choose 2? You could, but you'd be paying for extra electives. So to graduate from the program, really only one, and then I recommend you do another after you're out working and can have someone else pay for those classes. But that's just a lot of extra classes for you to take. So you would need 3 electives in our program, which would fit well into one of the certificates. But currently, right now, the IDD, the disabilities one, would be the one that you could do online.
Okay, any other questions out there? I think I've gone through all the ones that I've seen, but I may have missed one. So please type them in if I missed it. We'll give you a couple moments.
Okay, I can't thank you all enough for coming on your weeknight and your evening and missing putting your kids to bed or watching your favorite TV show or whatever it is that you would be doing. I'm really proud of this program and excited. Lynn and I have a great partnership and we work really closely together, as do the rest of the faculty. So just want to, we're there for you if you have questions or concerns. Just make sure where you end up is a strong quality program with people that really care. So thank you.